Okay, Daniel's 10. This is where we will now be studying. And this is where I will be also discussing and trying to prove that Michael, the Archangel, has a big dealing in our scriptures of truth. A big part that he plays. Now, let's Daniel's 10. Okay. In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a thing was revealed unto Daniel, whose name was called Belshazzar. And the thing was true, but the time appointed was long. And he understood the thing, and had understanding of the vision. In those days I, Daniel, was mourning 3 full weeks. I ate no pleasant bread, neither came flesh nor wine in my mouth. Neither did I anoint myself, he says, till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. And in the 24th day of the 1st month, as I was by the side of a great river, which is Hadekel, then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man, clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Upas. His body also was like the beryl. Let's stop right there. Hold that page. And let's turn to Revelations 1:12 as you hold that page. And the word says in Revelations, and I turned to see the voice that spake with me. And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man. So, here he's looking at something that appears like unto the Son of Man. In Daniel's verse 5, it says, I lifted my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man, clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold Upas. And in Revelations 1:13 it says, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with the garment down to the foot, and girt about the pap with a golden girdle. So, the golden girdle. Here it says, whose loins were girded with fine gold. So, though it may be a little bit different, it's similar. One is Christ before his ascension. One is Christ after his ascension, speaking in the year 90 in the Revelations. 2 separate at different times. Let's continue. Verse 6, Daniel's 10, verse 6. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning. In verse Revelations 1:14, his head, and his hair was white. So when it says white, it's similar to, and his face as the appearance of lightning. White. And not only was his head and his hair white, but it was white as snow. It says as snow, just like wool. Like wool is white. When you see a sheep, you see a goat, you see white. You think white when you think of sheep. White. So it's white like a sheep. White as snow, it says. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. His eyes were flames of fire. And here it says in Daniel's 10 verse 6, and his eyes as lamps of fire. His eyes like lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet in the color of polished brass. If I take off my feet right now, they look kind of his head was white, his feet are like polished brass. Okay? Polished brass. Here it says polished brass. In Revelations 1:15, and his feet like unto fine brass. So if you take off your foot right now, it's going to look white, it's going to look red, it's going to look different from the rest of your body. Like a little goldish color maybe. Okay? Here it's saying that his feet were like fine brass. In Daniel 10:6, it says his feet was like the color of polished brass. So here we're seeing a similar to the certain man in Daniel 10 and in Revelations 1, like unto the Son of Man. And it says, and his voice as the sound of many waters in Revelations 1:15, and in Daniel 10 verse 6, and it says, and his voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. So there's a similarity. I showed you before how angels came down in the form of man, and also 2 left to destroy the city, and 1 was actually the Lord who stood with Abraham. But obviously in the past people called any angel Lord. They seen something early, Lord. So that's a controversial issue, but to me I'm still thinking it was Jesus who said before, and that I am appeared as a man to Abraham. So here Daniel's is seeing a vision of a certain man that also appears as the same similarities as the one in Revelation when he speaks in the red letters, saying that's God himself. Let's continue. And I, Daniel, alone saw the vision, for the men that were with me saw not the vision, but a great quaking fell upon them, so that they fled to hide themselves. Therefore I was left alone and saw this great vision, and there remained no strength in me, for my comeliness was turned in me into corruption, and I retained no strength. Yet heard I a voice of his words, and when I heard the voice of his words, then was I in a deep sleep on my face, and my face toward the ground. And behold, a hand touched me, which set me upon my knees and upon the palms of my hand. And he said unto me, O Daniel, a man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak unto thee, and stand upright, for unto thee am I now sent. And when he had spoken this word unto me, I stood trembling. Then said he unto me, Fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand, and to chasten thyself before thy God, thy words were heard, and I am come for thy words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. Now, we see here an angelic being talking to Daniel. This angelic being is referenced as God. However you want to prescribe it. To me, it's Christ talking to him. And he's saying, the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. So this is a spiritual battle in Persia going on that they're fighting. A spiritual battle. There was times when the angel of the Lord came down and smote 185,000 Assyrians in one night. Murked them all. But here he's saying the prince of the king of Persia I've been fighting with for 21 days. So there's a battle, a war going on right now. Spiritual war. And he says below, Michael, one of the chief princesses came to help me. And I remained there with the king of Persia. So now we see 2 different entities, 2 different beings being mentioned. We got this entity of Christ in the pre-incarnate state before he was born in the flesh. And then we also got him also mentioning of Michael, another angel, who has also armies and angels that back him up, because he's only one of the chief princesses, and there must be many out there, and the armies of heaven and all those good things. And I remained there with the king of Persia. Now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the later days. For yet the vision is for many days. And when he has spoken such words to me, I set my face toward the ground and became dumb. And behold, one, like the similitude of the sons of men, touched my lips. Then I opened my mouth and spake and said unto him that stood before me, O my Lord, by the vision my sorrows are turned upon me, and I have retained no strength. For how can the servant of this, my Lord, talk with this, my Lord? For as for me, straightway there remain no strength in me, neither is there breath left in me. Then there came again and touched me one like the appearance of a man, and he strengthened me and said, O man, greatly beloved, fear not. Peace be unto thee. Be strong. Yeah, be strong. And when he had spoken unto me, I was strengthened and said, let my Lord speak. He says, for thou hast strengthened me. Then said he, knowest thou wherefore I come unto thee? And now will I return to fight with the princess of Persia. And when I am come forth, lo, the prince of Grecia shall come. Now this is a very important part of Daniel's 10. It says, but I will show thee that which is noted in the scriptures of truth. Now we got this here. This is the Bible. But probably about 2 inches, 2.5 inches thick. Small print. This is the scriptures of truth. But he's referring to scriptures of truth at that time, which could fill up libraries. But this is what we get for our basic salvation, so we can understand and learn mysteries, because there's no private interpretation in this thing. It can all be revealed. Even the mysteries of Christ, the mysteries of God can all be revealed. But here he says, I will show thee that which is noted in the scriptures of truth. And there is none that holdeth with me in these things, but Michael, your prince. So Christ is saying that there's nobody else that holds something dearly before God. No one that does not hold the scriptures of truth. There's none other but two that hold the scriptures of truth. The pre-incarnate Christ and Michael, the prince of the people. And that's what the scriptures say. They reveal clearly. And Daniel's and Revelations 1 show that the pre-incarnate Christ and the ascended Christ are one. And he's saying that Michael also holds these things with him.